Last week we wrapped up our custom steering column work, including this piece right here. It was the one part we didn't quite have a plan for. We knew what it needed to do. We understood how it had to function, but actually fabricating the pieces to tie everything together cleanly for upholstery, that was the real challenge. In the end though, this steering wheel boot collar came out exactly how we hoped. It looks right, it feels right, and it's setting us up for a clean finish. Now it's time to focus on the right hand, the part that controls everything. It's responsible for shifting, and that's exactly what we're building next. We've already spotted a few things that need attention, so let's dive in and knock this part out.
All right, so on the shifter, all we did is put some basic 90-degree tabs. Had to cut some of the base off. I'll show you that here in a second in case you're looking to modify one. And now we've just got to cut the hole up here to get it in towards the transmission, and go ahead and put some nut certs in the top of this because this thing will be permanently mounted and the console will go on top of it. I'll go ahead and give you a small piece. I don't want to give away too much. I want to keep this in a series as we are building this car. But Troy's going to have a center console where basically the sides bolt on this side, bolt on this side, and the face or the top bolts on. So it's going to be a three-piece center console. There's going to be another piece of the puzzle up here that we haven't got to yet. So I want to leave that alone for right now. But this is where the console has to go. It feels really good right there. Like, you know, straight back and everything. This has a neutral safety switch built into it. So this is going to be your neutral safety switch right here on the side, which is electric. We'll get to that later. All right, so you got the reverse right there, neutral, drive, 3, 2, 1. All right, and then one thing that's also built into this factory shifter, there's no cable hooked to the transmission right now. It's just a shifter unit, all right? But it has factory lockout, so that's drive right there. So you can't accidentally go into neutral, and you can't go into third gear without hitting the button. So that's a nice feature that all shifters have, but when you start getting really cheap shifters, they don't have lockout. So we got this thing for cheap, but with all factory safeties, neutral safety switch, lockouts, everything built in all one unit. Neutral is right there. It locks out where it can't go into reverse, just like in your car, even though there's no cable hooked up. And then when you reverse, it locks out where it can't go into park. Of course, when you're parked, it locks out where it can't go back into reverse. In reverse, you can go in neutral with no lockout. You can go in drive with no lockout, but you can't go into third without disengaging the lockout and going back. So cool features built into having a factory center console, and this thing is just gonna look, or factory shifter, and this thing is just gonna look amazing because it's literally a factory piece. So it's not gonna look tacky. I'm super stoked with the route that we went. There's also a couple other shifters that will fit this. So there's also a T-handle shifter if you want a little bit of the sportier feel. The owner or whatever be able to switch to the T-handle. I don't want that. I'm perfectly happy with this. I think this flows really good with the overall car. All we need to do now, punch a hole down here. That way we can get the cable down towards the transmission. So that's next. All right, so we got our shifter put in. I got it put in with Clecos, but I think I'm about to go ahead and bolt it in, put the nut certs in, take it out. We have a rough hole through here, all right, with a step down bit, super rough. All kinds of sharp metal, but that's where the cable has to dive down, so that's where it's going to be. We'll clean that up on the back transmissions out and everything. We'll clean it up. However, the shifter cable is definitely not going to be just a walk in the park, so we're going to have to clearance some things down here, but that's going to be on the 2-post lift at the shop. I'm not laying on the ground doing that here at the house. Basically, I've got my cable just thrown in here. It's not going to go like it is, so we don't have a lot of room. This is the factory shift plate right here. So the ball of it's at the end of my finger. That's the cross member. That's the corner of the floor that needs to be cut off. The cross member needs to be taken out of the way and that corner cut off with a saw. So we need some clearancing for sure. I think the cross member is exactly where the shifter linkage needs to go. So this cable will basically, it comes in currently up there like that, and the rubber is just sitting there. So it will kind of come in like this, I think, and then we can zip tie it off of this tab right here, and then it's gonna go, I'm thinking, curve in, back, all right, somewhere back in there, and then straight in. But I'm thinking that this cross member is gonna have to be cut in half right here, and we're gonna have to plasma cut a drop down basically to make it so that the cable will go, unless this cable will end up going under the cross member in a straight shot. That's not going to affect the body of the Cardinal. We can't cut the body. We can't move the transmission. We can't make the tunnel bigger. Like, nothing that is here now can be changed. We done everything that we could to make it as big as we could. If you followed along and you watched the pedal videos, then you remember that they were kind of tight, and everything's just tight. I mean, we have really big stuff crammed into a small area. I mean, Allison freaking Duramax transmission was never supposed to go into a Plymouth. I mean, that bad boy is freaking shoved in there, dude. For the base of that shifter, this is all we took off. So this is the part that bolts down. So we took that much height off of that, which is approximately an inch, a good inch that we took off of it, because we needed to lower it as much as we could. Past an inch, it wanted to start getting into different shifting mechanisms. You see we got this little piece right here which does come off, but then not much more up, you got this rod and everything, and then you start losing on the front the piece that the cable goes through. So it just wasn't worth going past more than that, but we got an inch. Troy can build around that. On to the next task. All right, so for this radiator hose, all we're doing is basically it for mock-up. So I ran to the store, got a radiator hose, we're cutting it up. It's just gonna allow us to kind of map out where the fuel is gonna go. And we're not gonna use the radiator hose for the actual diesel fuel, but this basically gives us a map of the curves, the directions, the lengths, and all that is needed in order to get it to the fuel cell. Now, currently at this time, I don't know if I'm going to use rubber hose or if we're going to use some like stainless or some aluminum pipe, you know, with some elbows in it, and TIG weld all that up nice and neat, and then put couplings on it to connect it to the fuel cap and the fuel cell itself. But right now, we're just trying to map out the path that the fuel line or the fuel fill neck is going to take to the tank. All right, so we got our gas cap mounted in, and if y'all were part of the channel, whenever we fit this thing in, I went over how we did the flush mount, what pieces we bought, what gas cap we used, everything. So super happy with this gas cap on it. And then we went and got the hose, just a random one from Advance. And I've been working with that. And then we come in here, and we have sliced the fuel cell so we can get it back. So if you recall, we were hanging over the edge, and I was sitting here trying to plan everything out, and I kind of honestly got pissed off. I said, you know what? I'm sick of dragging this thing out. I'm sick of, not sick of the car, just sick of dragging stuff out, man. Like, let's put this thing together, you know? I mean, we've been working on a lot of detail stuff, don't get me wrong, but I said, let's just make stuff happen. So let's figure out what we need to do and let's make it happen. So we cut the corner up there. I'm gonna take this thing over to Mike. That's what I'm doing. Get him to weld the feet on it and get him to weld up that back part, because I definitely cannot weld aluminum right now. We still have our clearance on our holes where the body of the vehicle bolts on. That way, if you ever need to pull the body, you don't have to do it undo the gas tank, and I've got it marked where Mike can put his feet at. So now the fuel cell sits flush with all of that. Our fuel neck comes in, all right, and I went ahead and used the cap also. I just took the cap off and was able to fit that hose over the cap. So that is done. Fuel cell is done. Just need to take it to Mike, and literally it can be bolted in place once we put the nutserts in. All we need to do back here now to finish up in here, I think, is this latch, and then fit the corners of the trunk lid, and then the trunk is 100% done. We recut the seat brackets out like you've seen, because they weren't perfect, so I got pissed off too. I just got in the mood all of a sudden where I was like, you know what? We're just going to start banging stuff out. Everything that needs to be done, we're just going to start freaking banging it out. And so I completely have them welded up 100%. This one has to be clearanced a little bit at the top when we go to the shop with the air tools, but they open and close correctly. So we're about to make progress fast. This thing is going to be at the shop here really soon to get the body work done on it. And probably put in primer. Might go ahead and paint the body and then just repaint it on the backside. Or re-clear it, whatever, to get rid of the scratches from working on it. Not 100% sure yet. We're keeping the factory taillights, we have decided, so I need to weld that up and fit the corners of the trunk. I guess that's what I'm going to work on now, is stay back right here. Taillights, corners. Then I need to do a roll pan, but I think I'm going to just sling the bumpers back on it. Honestly, I kind of just want to get this thing together is what I'm thinking now. So might shave and see what the bumper looks like, shave a tuck or something on the rear. And I think this thing will look good with bumpers. All right, so attempting to do the corners of the trunk, and you quickly realize that you really need to get in there and cope them into a curve. And the best tool to do that with is like an air grinder that has a little stone bit on the end of it, and that kind of needs to be shaped and stuff like that. So it's not going to be the best task to do at the house. So what we decide to do is move on to the little stuff, such as where we chopped the top. There's still some little like 1 inch and 3/4 inch gaps that are on the inside of the body up high that need to be filled in. All this stuff has to be done before upholstery, and we're talking we got like 2 or 3 spots left, and then the interior is basically done, and pretty much everything from the chop on the interior is basically done. So that's where we're going now, is to finish up the last tiny little bit of details from where we chopped the top.